The sprinkler head was sputtering like a cornered animal, spitting out a feeble mist that barely covered a single square foot of my freshly sodded lawn. I was down on my hands and knees in the damp grass, jabbing at it with a screwdriver, thinking this was the epitome of the American dream. Owning a home, dealing with a broken irrigation system, and wondering if I'd bitten off more than I could chew. This was my first house, what the realtor called a starter home, with the same forced cheer as someone describing a minor ailment. It sat in a tidy suburban neighborhood, the kind where everything was a shade of neutral, sandstone, desert tan, or if you were feeling adventurous, grayish. I'd just coaxed the sprinkler into stopping its feeble rattle and instead dousing me full in the face when a shadow loomed over me, accompanied by a high-pitched yapping. "Mr. Whiskers stopped at this instant," a sharp voice commanded. "You don't know where he's been." I wiped the recycled water from my glasses and looked up. It was Susan, of course. Susan was the self-appointed head of the neighborhood watch, the beautification committee, and what seemed like the local society for folks with far too much free time. She was in her 50s, always sporting a bright visor regardless of the weather, and holding the leash of a tiny, jittery dog that resembled a walking dust bunny. Mr. Whiskers, the dust bunny in question, was barking at my ankles. "Morning, Susan," I said, standing up. "Mr. Whiskers." She nodded curtly, her eyes sweeping over my property like an inspector on a mission. "New garage door opener. Sturdy. Matches the color." I glanced at the garage. Yes, it did match. Oh yeah? They had a deal on sandstone paint. It's basically beige with a bit of edge. Susan didn't crack a smile. I doubted she could. She planted her hands on her hips and let out a sigh that could wilt flowers. It was the sigh of someone witnessing a tragedy. "John, can I be frank?" My mind screamed no. Frankness wasn't welcome in this sea of neutrals. But I nodded. "Sure, Susan. Go ahead." She stared at my house as if judging its very soul. "It's just, your house is bland." She said it like delivering a dire prognosis. "Bland?" I echoed. "Yes, bland," she repeated, savoring the word. "A beige box in an ocean of similar beige boxes. No personality. It drags down the whole neighborhood." She glanced at her shivering dog. "Mr. Whiskers is bored just looking at it. Aren't you, boy?" The dog yipped weakly, as if agreeing the blandness was soul-crushing. I was speechless. What do you say to that? "Sorry, Susan. I'll pick up some personality at the hardware store." She shook her head, visor gleaming. "You've just moved in, John. This is your chance to make a statement, to add something positive. This is disappointing. Think about it." With that, she and her furry sidekick marched off on their patrol. I stood there, drenched and dazed. I'd been called quiet, nerdy. Even my ex, Emily, had said I was too comfortable, which I now realized meant bland. But my house bringing down the zip code? That stung deep. Inside, my beige carpet led to a beige hallway under a beige lampshade. My toaster sat on a beige countertop. My couch was oatmeal, walls eggshell. I'd bought the place after Emily left, taking our one splash of color, a red mixer. The rest was mine, all this neutrality. Anxiety hit like a freight train. Was I bland? My job as a data analyst, my silver sedan, my efficient life. Oh God, Susan was right. My house mirrored my colorless existence. That night, I skipped my usual grilled chicken and veggies for a loaded pizza and 3 IPAs. Spite-fueled, I Googled how to make house less bland. Suggestions were tame: colorful doormat, bold door paint, window boxes. I could hear Susan scoffing. I drank more, scrolled deeper. Landscaping, siding, then street art murals. A nameless portfolio popped up, vibrant, alive transformations. The opposite of beige. Insane? Yes. HOA nightmare? Absolutely. Perfect. I messaged, got a 2-story suburban canvas and a neighbor needing an aesthetic shock. Available. The reply came quick. Shocks inspire art. Coffee at noon. The twisted mug. Alone. The next morning, hangover pounding, I debated bailing. But at 11:45, I parked blocks away from the artsy downtown cafe, nerves jangling. The place reeked of strong coffee and incense. Indie tunes blared. I felt out of place in my khakis. John, a 20-something in round glasses, black turtleneck, and ripped jeans sat sketching. They looked like a TED speaker on urban vibes. I'm Jax. Sit. You're late, Jax said without looking up. Traffic? Scared, actually. They nodded. The canvas, its vibe. Screaming into a beige void. Jax smiled faintly. We can work with that. The neighbor. Control freak, beautification boss. Perfect. We'll dialogue with suburban conformity. Fee. $3,000. Full creative control. No swears or skulls. This is liberation, not chaos. I agreed, wired half up front. Friday night, the equinox for drama arrived. I set up a ladder and blinding lights. At 11:45, a silent Prius pulled up. Jax, in black gear and respirator, unloaded premium sprays. Ambient beats played low. Jax danced up the ladder, hissing paint, electric blue lines, then magenta swirls. I paced his lookout, heart racing. At 2:30 a.m., headlights, a cop car. Officer Thompson, from the chili cook-off, spotlighted us. Late for this, huh? I stammered. Just a touch-up. Cool air helps adhesion. Jax boomed. Licensed contractor, municipal code 41B. Thompson sighed. Neighbor reported meth lab smells. Just magenta and yellow. He eyed the emerging mural, pinched his nose, and left with a warning to tone it down. Jax finished at dawn, vanishing. Morning light revealed a masterpiece, a giant geometric octopus in blues and purples, bespectacled and reading, abstract flowers exploding in yellows and limes. Stunning, but lawsuit bait. Reactions poured in. A teen skateboarder, Alex, fell off his board. Is that Jax? Epic. Mrs. Harlow, elderly neighbor, cooed. Vibrant, like a tropical bird. Good for you, adding color. Power walker mom Lisa whispered. Love it, don't tell Susan. Then Susan stormed over, visor quaking, clipboard in hand. This vandalism violates HOA bylaws. I countered. It's art, exempt. She shrieked threats and fled. 2 days of glory, pie for Mrs. Harlow drives by from Lisa. Then code enforcement. Bob, the handyman I'd consulted earlier. Complaints from S. Henderson, squid with a book. Octopus, reading. Bob chewed, admired. Technically, no violations. I'll file as pending art review. 6 to 8 years. He winked. Real pizzazz. The HOA showdown. Susan's lawn meeting, projector blasting my house, as abomination. She ranted about anarchy, property values. I stood. It's official art. Neighbors turned. Mrs. Harlow liked the interest. Lisa said it inspired her kids to read. Alex called it culture. Susan deflated, defeated. A month later, grilling burgers, not bland chicken. A tour van slows by my landmark home. Lisa emerges from inside. Burgers ready? We're dating. My bravery won her over. Susan's house is for sale, unsold. Too bland? Mister. Whiskers wags at the octopus. My house, and I, aren't bland anymore. What do you think? Share in the comments. Was Susan's control a form of injustice, or John's rebellion a subtle violence against norms? Take a stand. Express your views on violence and injustice in everyday life. Your thoughts could spark a great discussion.